Good morning, everyone. This is Melissa with thestockswoosh.com, and today I wanted to just do an update on FDX. This was a trade I called in the trading room the day that it gapped, the day that it had the earnings out, which was the 20th. Here, let's look at the daily. And I actually did say that day to everybody in the room that this was an entry for swing or core trade in FDX. And I also said that it was going to continue the next day, which it did. Had a beautiful, beautiful, nice play in the second day and a nice drop. We'll go over that in a minute. And then Friday morning I got up and looked at it. I said, you know, just lay off this today because everybody's been salivating at this FDX, you know, looking at it since Wednesday. And some people played it in the room, some people didn't. I said, just take it easy with this, lay off of it today. I knew it was going to go green on Friday, but I didn't know how big of a green. But considering the market rally Friday, this isn't that big of a green. After a stock has a tremendous drop like this, it needs a day of rest. And that day of rest is usually in the opposite direction of the direction. And this goes for both. This is when a gap is up and it's green, or down and it's red. It needs a day of rest. If it has a nice hard drop the first day, or sometimes two or 3 days into it, it could be. But when I saw the extension here, I said, just rest today. I didn't think it was going to make it down to this full-on target here and within 3 straight days. This is probably going to wiggle and jiggle now because of this green bar here. It might go right again on Monday, though. I will say it didn't get over $99. It ran up to $90.90. It couldn't get up there over the bar from Thursday. So it may set up again and go right away. It's down to 93 bucks on Monday, or it might wiggle and jiggle in here until it wants to drop again. The best chance for this to drop lower overall faster would be a wiggle jiggle with then another hard drop in. If it goes to 93 already right here, it'll drop off again, then some, and then it'll do the wiggle and jiggle after that. Full on target on this, you know, really is 84 bucks. But I mean, it should see $93 in the next week. Look at that target. Boy, is that a nice target. That is so clear. When something looks like that, when the target's screaming at you how clear it is, it's going to get there. You know, that's how I read stuff. All right? Just don't, when something is screaming at you, it's good. Don't ignore the signs that stocks and charts are telling you. You must read them. And when something is clear, make sure that you see it. I always say, let this tell me what it's going to do. Let this tell me what it's going to do. Well, it's telling me it's going to do that and go to that $93. I did say that the day of the gap. I mean, I did say there was a chance it could do that the day of the gap, which it didn't do. Yeah, look, this might go again on Monday. Get that 2:30, 3 o'clock. Could not, here, this is what I did it. I think this might go again on Monday. It's going to have to be a watch for Monday. Yeah. That could not get over 99 with the market rally, and it gapped up here and just rallied out and then just pittered out really from the whole morning, 10:30 to here. This is ready to break again. This is lower. Yes, yes, yes. I think it's going to be Monday. This is a watch for Monday. Look, it just rallied up right into resistance here. That's all that it did. 98.82, 83, 85, 81, 90, and there he is, 98.95. Beautiful. This was such a nice drop. This was the day of the gap, okay, into the afternoon close, and then the second fall through day open and bled all into the 2 o'clock reversal time. You could have even taken, this would have been very aggressive, but it was so weak. This is aggressive because of the type of stock it is, but it had a doji here. You could have shorted this right under this, but the stop over the doji base. 10:45, 11 o'clock reversal time. Stop on this would have been less than 30 cents. You can't get any better than that in the middle of the day on FDX. And so it dropped off, and you would have made $2.30. Incredible play. And how did you know that it was going to follow through? Well, first of all, I said that it was going to $93 a day of the gap. I also said it was going to follow through the next day because lots of people don't always get out the day of the gap. They miss it. Or they put a blindfold on. You can't do that. But that's what happens. All right. So then I knew it was going to fall through the next day because it was a big gap, and then it had crushing selling in it. And then these people aren't down money, remember? They just bought in here. So they may decide to get out with something before it falls off the cliff. And so then more selling took place the next day in. And when it opened at 98.78, ran up right into the middle of the morning. It was the first, I think, 5 minutes of the day. I have to go look at it. Tried to get over $99, couldn't do it. And that was a sign. That was a sign right there. It was going. You could have shorted into $99 right there into the morning period and played it down the entire day for $4. But that's what you could have done. I mean, this is the difference between having conviction and not having conviction. This is the difference between knowing when to be aggressive and when not to be aggressive. You've got to just got to learn this stuff. 21st. Here it was. And of course, there were many places you could have added all along the way with this. But the entry in this was a short. When it held, it couldn't break over $99. It was the first bar of the day. That even makes it even stronger. Beautiful, beautiful. That's the entry right there. That's what you do. Now, if you missed that, you could have taken it right in here. Okay. Stop has to be over this tail here. Well, 20 cents, 20 some cents, which is a great entry. And then that late entry in the 15. But to get this here, I mean, this is 100% conviction. You know exactly what you're doing. You would have had to be right on this right away, right off the open, and really loved it. And it did have pre-market data and trading going on in the morning, the day after the gap. So you would have had enough information to figure it out. And it's a continuation gap. This is not a new gap on the 21st. It's a continuation gap. This is very aggressive, but this is how you have to play this if you want to make a lot of money on the day. And if you did, look how much you got paid. What you set your risk, you take the trade. All right, and you do it. And it's aggressive, but I do teach it's okay to be aggressive on stuff when you like the trade, when you like the gap. This is the difference between knowing when to hold back and when to take certain levels of risk. And just like the day of the actual gap, I added on the trade. As soon I took the first position, and then I did the ad right away. Is really quick. So the ad was really at my same price. I still call it an ad though, because it's like a second confirmation where I know it's going to go. Therefore, I'm getting in heavier. That's how you've got to trade these things. And then you've got a nice big position in it, and you take it down. Otherwise, these add and reduces, you know, if you don't get the add and reduces at the right spot, if you're way into your price and you're at money, you could lose the profit you're in. It's better to do the ad once you get the second entry, the second confirmation, if you have conviction. And you still got to be okay with the risk. So you got to set your parameters accordingly for what you're doing in the day. But lots and lots of times these gaps are so beautiful that they really go and continue for the next day. And that's how you have to learn how to play them out and follow them through with 100% conviction. This is Melissa with thestockswoosh.com. If you're interested in more information, contact me at melissa@thestockswoosh.com. I do teach a class on how to trade gaps. If you're interested in more information, please email me at melissa@thestockswoosh.com. The next gap class is April 13th and 14th. Have a great weekend, everybody.